Hi, this is Call Johnson. Welcome to Straight Talk Soccer. Today we'll be covering the U.S., Arsenal, Manchester United versus Swansea, and Real Salt Lake. The U.S. played against Bosnia and Herzegovina on Wednesday, and the final score was 4-3 for the U.S. At halftime, the score was 2-0 for Bosnia, and the first half was very weak from the U.S. perspective. I remember Alexi Lalas saying at halftime, if you're one of the players not U.S. players not on this squad currently, that's a good thing. But at halftime, Klinsmann switched the formation from the 4-3-3 to the 4-4-2, and it worked out well in the first little bit as of the second half as Michael Bradley lofted a ball up to Josie Altidore, who slotted it just to the side with one touch to Eddie Johnson, who finished it to start the scoring. And from there, Altidore took over the game and scored 3 goals in the second half. His total stats for the game, for even just the second half, were an assist and 3 goals, which he kind of led the team on Wednesday. My favorite goal of his was probably his second goal, is a wonderful free kick over the wall and into the top left corner. Great performance from Josie. The next U.S. game is on September 6th at Costa Rica, back in World Cup qualifying. So that will be an interesting game to see if the U.S. can keep up its current form with 12 games in a row with a win. On to Arsenal. The Premier League started off yesterday, something I'm always excited for. And Arsenal at home lost 3-1 to Aston Villa. They had a great start. Great goal by Giroud. Very typical Arsenal player. Rosicky out to Oxlade-Chamberlain, who then slotted across to Giroud, who just tapped it into the net. The game kind of turned around when the Arsenal gave up a first penalty when Chesney came out and took down the forward. He saved the initial penalty, but Benteke came through and cleaned it up with a header. Then later in the game, Arsenal gave up a second penalty on a slide tackle by Laurent Koscielny. After examining the tackle, I can understand why the referee gave it, or the referee's assistant, as is being speculated that who called the foul. But if you look at it closer, it was a brilliant tackle that should not have been called. But stuff happens, and Arsenal should have been able to fight through it, but they gave up a late goal and ended with the final being 3-1. Arsenal fans were obviously disappointed, especially with the lack of transfers into Arsenal this summer. Fans were quoted ending the game by chanting, "Spend some blank money." So hopefully either Arsenal can pull it out and get some better form going with the current players, or they'll splash some cash and bring in a new player to spice things up. On to the Manchester United versus Swansea game. This was the one game I got to see based on my TV channels I have at home. And so I watched it, and what I learned from it is Manchester United are extremely well set up front. Swansea, it appeared to me that Swansea just worked Manchester through the first half. They never, every time they gave up the ball, they'd just go get it back really quickly. It was really fun watching Swansea play, but they just never could get that final ball into the final pass through to the final third. And Robin Van Persie just took over and had a great game like he always does. On to RSL. RSL played at LA on Saturday. The first half was tough for them. We went into halftime at 0-0. And then João Plata scored an opening goal, which came from almost nothing. I feel like Borchers stepped up and kind of hit a low driven ball into just outside the 18-yard box, and Grabavoy had a beautiful little outside of the foot flick into Plata, who just took a couple touches and then slotted it past the keeper. Looked like a great start and looked like it was going to be a good game for RSL, but right after that is when Robbie Keane decided to get going. Keane finished the game with 3 goals, and he just kind of he worked the two Real center backs, Borchers and Salcedo. Grabavoy, I've always been impressed with him. He played hard all game. That guy can run forever. He's the Energizer Bunny. There was a point in the game where I thought there was a fantastic bit of defending from Chris Wingert. Landon Donovan managed to get through and around Ramondo, but Chris Wingert and took the shot, but Chris Wingert dove in and chested the ball off the line instead of basically just using whatever he could to get it off the line. I was impressed by that. So other than that, Real seemed to struggle against a LA team who was firing on all cylinders. They should be able. Real Salt Lake, with the way they've been playing, it seemed to be kind of tapering off their form. They need to get back into their good form, which I believe if they were back in their good form of their unbeaten streak since June, they would have been able to work through that good play from LA. The Real's next game is at Portland on Wednesday the 21st, and that does it for us on Straight Talk Soccer. So thank you for watching and have a great night.